We live in cities you'll never see on the screen. Not very pretty, but we sure know how to run free. So we're sipping tea. That's right. We're going to spill the tea. Tea for Tunes Reviews. Welcome back to Tunes Reviews. That was fucking flawless. So before we jump into the tea, I am wearing Fahrenheit Parfum by Dior. It is exquisite. If you have not tried this, jump on it. I'll do a full review sometime in the near future, in the next couple months. I'm sure I've spent enough time with this. So now it just comes time for making a review on it. But this is my scent of the day. Wonderful choice. Check it out if you haven't. It also comes to mind that I'm doing a response video to Robes08. Hi, Mark. And he had Fahrenheit Summer in his video, so that I didn't even think about that. But here we are. Somehow I have chosen subconsciously Fahrenheit. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the same exact topics. So the topic for today is fragrance addiction and what it means to be a personality on the internet. Now, before I dive into this, I want everybody to know that I'm going to get really real with you all. If you're not interested in real talk, if you're not interested in a little bit of exposure as far as my actual experience and or what I've seen other people go through, then go ahead and click out of the video. You know, there's no need for just bashing for no reason. I can take it. I don't really care. That's fine by me, but you're wasting your own time, essentially. But this is going to be a very personal topic for myself because I've seen so many people go through these things, as well as I've had my own taste. So again, I am basing this off of Mark's video. It was kind of a goodbye to Joy. Hi, Joy, if you're watching this. Support you, love your channel. But I kind of wanted to grab some content from that video and kind of fly off in my own direction with it because there's a lot of stuff that he talked about in there that I think is worth discussing. So first things first, fragrance addiction. What does that mean? What does it all mean? What's in the box? What is in the box? Here, let me just spray myself with some more Fahrenheit. Get real manly about it. So, fragrance addiction. You know, it's funny how people kind of poo-poo this concept off and act as though this is just so ridiculous that somebody could be addicted to fragrance. Addiction knows no bounds. I mean, it really doesn't. If you have an addictive personality that can spill out from alcohol, cigarettes, whatever the case may be, consumerism in general, these things are all very addictive for reasons, and it's because we're trying to fill a void. There is a void to be filled. Insert Joey Cannoli clip here because I swear to God he's going to comment on this about filling voids. But there's a void to be filled because of things like depression or anxiety or whatever life event that we go through that we feel like we're lacking passion. And that's really what this is all about, I think. An addiction to fragrance and the addiction to reviewing fragrance that can actually happen. It's happened to me. So fragrance addiction, where can this stem from? There's a lot of different ways that this can kind of conjure up and attack us in our sleep. And we get bitten like a vampire, shout out to Gavin, by the fragrance addiction bug. First things first, I think when we get excited about how we have this hobby in common with somebody else and we actually visually see it, we want to have that camaraderie with somebody and share the experience. And we get so excited that sometimes we do things like blind buy. Hi, my name's Tim. I have blindly purchased probably about 100 bottles over my time of reviewing on this channel. Straight up, not afraid to admit it, lost a ever-loving fuck ton of money based off of it, so I certainly don't do it anymore. Maybe once in a while I'll catch the blind purchase bug and purchase something out of the blue. Actually, this is a great example. There were so many wonderful reviews on this, and I love the original Fahrenheit. I didn't really think you could go wrong, so I blindly purchased this, and I ended up falling in love. But that's like the first bottle in probably 2 years that I had decided to blindly purchase. Either way, my point being, just sample. The cost of sampling things is so much cheaper. You do not need to be the first person to review something. You do not have to own the bottle based off of another reviewer obtaining that bottle immediately, because here's a little secret for you. The people who got those bottles, like Explorer, the day it came out or before it got out, were given it for free, okay? So there's the first thing to remember, okay? When you get into this hobby, when you get into the reviewing game, if you are so inclined to start reviewing fragrances, and that's something that you'd want to do, please keep in mind that the majority of these folks that are reviewing things before their release date are getting free shit. You do not need to keep up with them. What you need to do for yourself, I'm not telling you what to do, but for your own peace of mind, just know that these guys aren't running out and buying all these bottles willy-nilly, okay? Once you understand that you don't need to own something immediately, and you don't need to review it immediately, the better off you are. The more you can enjoy this hobby for what it is, for yourself, but then just so happen to have that in common with other people. Point number 2, okay, so we got that out of the way, the consumerism, the fact that a lot of these reviewers get free stuff. You don't need to keep up with them, because a lot of what consumerism is, and a lot of how our society has structured itself, is based off of keeping up with the Joneses. As we all know, yes, I got to have that car to make sure that, my neighbor doesn't have a better car than me. I got to make sure my house is set to a certain standard on the outside, aesthetically speaking, to make sure that my neighbor's doesn't look better than mine, etc., so on. God, I better have a bachelor's degree before my graduating high school class has entirely gotten into their careers. All those things that we constantly end up basically comparing ourselves to, when really all we need to do is make sure that we're a better person, better than the day before, the next day, you know what I mean? So if I'm better today than I was yesterday, then does it really matter what my neighbor's doing? Not really. The same exact concept is applicable here, okay? A lot of the reason why I feel like we get involved in any hobby whatsoever, when you put 110% in something new, is because something was lacking in our personal lives prior. And I can't speak for everybody on that, but I think a lot of the time when we put all of ourselves into something new like that, again, is because we're trying to fill a void. And then that void that we're trying to fill ends up never really being enough. I mean, all these new bottles, they never end up being enough, because the void we're trying to fill comes from an internal place where we need to figure out our own shit. I need to be happy with myself before anybody else is happy with me, right? How can I expect to maintain any kind of relationship with anybody if I don't love me? And that's not to be narcissistic or anything, but I think we need to focus on loving who we are as a person prior to allowing other people to love us wholly, you know what I mean? And that journey is very difficult. I'm not saying that it's easy or whatever. I mean, finding oneself is it's a broad topic too. My God, I could talk about that for days. And that's not really what we're here to discuss. But all that to say that we need to keep in mind that when we're doing things like this that are hobbies where we're spending our own money, for us, this is something to break away. It's escapism. That we need to maintain that level of awareness for ourselves, where we keep ourselves in check and make sure that we don't fall down this rabbit hole of needing the constant validation and gratification of purchasing a new bottle, getting that next comment, getting that next like, getting that next subscriber, pushing that next review out for other people. I mean, I love doing this for other people. I'm so happy that with the number of subscribers that I've received over the years, people always give me positive content, sometimes negative, it comes with the territory. And I wouldn't change it any other way. I keep doing this 90% for me though. I love this. I have a passion for it. And people use that term, that word so loosely now, passion. Everyone's passionate about everything. But I really mean it though. Like, I've always loved cologne. I've always had a collection since I was probably 7 years old, literally. And I think that we need to, again, be self-aware, especially if we're coming from a place where we're kind of broken down. I mean, I can speak from experience. When I was 19 and I started my channel up, going through my first horrible breakup, completely heartbroken, wanted to, find something to take up some of my time, get lost in something, find a new cologne so that I wasn't reminded of memories with her, with the bottle that I had been wearing for years. And that can sometimes take over the fun of it. That constant need of gratification and basically putting all our eggs into the basket of people now looking up to us or looking to us for knowledge about something because it feels good, right? So it becomes almost this practice and self-masturbatory content. And I don't mean to be crass about it, but that's really what it comes down to. Is there's a little sprinkle of narcissism within the reviewing game to begin with, and that's why we see all these fake personalities too. I mean, a lot of, and I'm not pointing the finger, I'm not even going to get started with names because I don't give a shit. Do what you want to do. The platform is here for everybody. Again, people have all different kinds of motivations, but this is just an observation. You'll notice that a lot of the newer guys have a very fake personality, okay? I'm so energetic all the time. Well, guess what? That's not how fucking life is. There's bad days and there's good days. There's, some days I don't want to talk to anybody. Some days I love talking to everybody. Some days I don't want to make a review and I never want to review again. Some days I wish I was being paid to review all day, every day. So that there's such a synthetic quality about some of the new personalities. And I just want to make sure that people understand that you have to put you first, and you also do not need to keep up with everybody else. So those are the first 2 points. Number 3 on my list is you don't owe anybody anything, okay? If one day, unless you have contracts signed, which I highly doubt unless you're as big as Jeremy Fragrance, if you have multiple contracts signed with people where like you have to make such and such videos or else you owe us this money back, blah, 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 which is probably not the case with 90% of whoever reviews. Keep in mind that you absolutely 100% can take whatever break you want mentally. If this gets to you at some point, which it does everybody, just so you know, every single reviewer, no matter what community they're reviewing in. I don't care if you're doing lifestyle stuff, fashion, fragrance reviews, movie reviews, it doesn't matter. You're going to get sick of it at some point. You're going to get sick of the limelight. You're going to get sick of the haters, the negativity. Guess what? The internet is very negative sometimes. And again, that just comes with the territory. So keep in mind that you should be doing this whole thing for you. And the second that you start feeling like you're losing your passion and losing your motivation, don't let it ruin you. Take that break that you think that you need, mentally speaking. And it doesn't matter if it's a week, a month, a year. I've taken long hiatuses before. I've been gone for 3 months before. I've been gone for 6 months before. I've been gone for a whole year before. Life gets in the way. This is not the end all be all. Okay, this YouTube thing is not the end all be all. Your life outside of here is so much more important and so much more valuable than what you're doing right now watching me. I'm glad that you're watching me, and I'm glad that we can be here for each other via the internet, and I've made so many wonderful relationships and friendships through the internet. But at the end of the day, your family, your friends, your job, your education, finding a new hobby that you love, like photography or whatever the case may be, those are all things that are really important to have. And I don't want you to think that those things have to go on the back burner just because of this. So if you do feel like all those things are becoming pushed aside and this is becoming the forefront for too long, too much time, and you see that your grades are going down, your relationship is going down the tubes, your health, your mental health, your physical health, whatever the case may be, your wallet, you're now in debt, take a break. You know, I know it all too well. I really do. I know it all too well. I'll tell you right now, when I was 22 years old, I'm 28 now. When I was 22 years old and going through all these things myself, you know, severe depression, a little bit of agoraphobia even, and, you know, another horrible breakup, and me just not really being comfortable with who I am yet. I racked up so much debt, thinking that the whole reviewing thing was going to kind of replace whatever it was that was missing in my life for happiness. And it just makes me, it kind of breaks my heart looking at my own journey with this sometimes, just because I am so confident and happy with who I am today. But obviously I had to go through those things in order to get where I am now. And I just don't want to see anybody else have to go through that. So I hope, if nothing else, this portion of the video helps one of you out there that may feel all that pressure and from basically starting out and you're getting all these new subscribers and it feels good and the gratitude is there and the validation is there. Just keep it in check and make sure that you're happy with who you are.